call this regular meeting to order for the Planning Commission of January 13th, 2026 at 7 p.m. If you will, stand with me. Dear Heavenly Father, we give thanks for the privilege and responsibility to serve the city of Fairview. We ask for your guidance and wisdom as we deliberate and make decisions that will impact the lives of our citizens. May we always strive to be just, fair, and compassionate in our actions. Lord, unite our hearts and minds in a spirit of cooperation and understanding. Forgive our sins and guide us to make decisions that reflect your honor and will in your name. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
All right, Ms. Howell, I apologize, I went out of order a little bit, but if you will, call the roll, please.
Ms. Schilling. Here. Mr. Dawson.
Present.
Mr. Ritt.
Here.
Ms. Schulist.
Here.
Mr. Callie.
Here.
Mr. Pape.
Here.
Mr. King.
Here.
Vice Mayor McDonald.
Here.
Mayor Anderson.
Thank you. No citizen comments this evening? Okay.
None.
All right. Sure, if you will, state your name and address in 5 minutes.
I'm Alex Becker. I'm with EcoTerra. I live in Mount Juliet, actually, but we have a project out here in Fairview. I just wanted to apologize. I guess I was actually on the agenda last month. We have a project over at Horn Tavern. I was not aware that I was on the agenda, but Ethan did a great job speaking for us and explaining it, and I just wanted to apologize for not being here, and I appreciate your time. So, thanks.
Thank you. All right, item 5 on the agenda, approval of agenda from the December 9th, thank you, 2025 meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Callie, do I have a second?
Second.
Dawson? All right. You will call the vote.
Mr. Callie.
Aye.
Mr. Dawson.
Aye.
Ms. Schilling. Aye. Mr. Ritt. Ms. Schulist.
Aye.
Mr. Pape.
Abstain.
Mr. King.
Abstain.
Vice Mayor McDonald. Mayor Anderson.
Aye.
All right, motion passes 7-0. All right, next item on the agenda, item 6, approval of minutes for, I'm sorry, I said that backwards. We just approved the agenda, or the minutes from December 9th. So moving up to item 5, approval of agenda for tonight's meeting. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting?
Motion to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting.
I have a second. Schilling, all right, Ms. Howell, if you'll call the vote, please.
Mr. Pape.
Aye.
Ms. Schilling. Aye. Mr. Dawson.
Aye.
Mr. Ritt.
Aye.
Ms. Schulist.
Aye.
Mr. Callie.
Aye.
Mr. King.
Aye.
Vice Mayor McDonald.
Aye.
Mayor Anderson.
Aye.
All right, motion passes 9-0. All right, item number 7, old business, none tonight. Item number 8, new business. Item A, PC Resolution PC 126, annexation of 7320 Northwest Highway, map 21, parcel 56.07, acreage 5.38 acres, current zoning MGA 1, property owner Ryan Winkle.
Make a motion to approve PCO 126.
All right, Callie, do I have a second?
Second.
Is that Dawson? Yes. All right. Mr. Greer, if you'll give us the report.
Ms. Allison Corolla with T Squared Engineering has submitted, with the property owner having knowledge of the application, an annexation request for the property located at 7320 Northwest Highway. The parcel is more specifically identified as tax map 021, parcel 056.07. The property contains a total of 5.38 acres and is currently zoned Williamson County MGA 1. The parcel is located within the urban growth boundary of the city of Fairview. Additionally, the parcel is contiguous to the current Fairview municipal boundaries due to all surrounding properties being located within the municipal boundaries of Fairview. The parcels located to the north, south, and east are located within the Fairview municipal boundary and are zoned R20. The parcel to the west, across Northwest Highway, is located within the Fairview municipal boundaries and is zoned RM8, multifamily residential. The properties to the north, south, and east are all part of the Orange-Shire subdivision, which tax map 021 parcel 56.07 is proposed to become phase 4 of the Orange-Shire subdivision development. In the Fairview Forward 2040 plan, this parcel is designated as new residential medium neighborhood. The new residential medium neighborhood classification notes the appropriate land uses are single-family detached residential, single-family attached residential, limited to two-family homes, and mixed-use or commercial office. The new residential medium neighborhood classification lists the RS40 and R20 zone districts as appropriate zoning for this property within this classification. The proposed land use is single-family detached residential, is in alignment with the Fairview Forward 2040 comprehensive plan. The proposed zoning for this property, tonight, obviously, we'll be addressing this as an annexation. This property, if annexed, will come into the city as RS40. The applicant has also submitted a subsequent request to rezone this property to R20. R20 is in alignment with the Fairview Forward 2040 comprehensive plan, and the parcels that make up the rest of this subdivision are also R20. All necessary utilities are located on or will be extended into adjacent parcels to the north, south, and east as part of the Orange-Shire residential subdivision. This parcel, which is proposed to become phase 4, will connect into the existing utilities of the previous phases. Staff recommends the Planning Commission provide a favorable recommendation to the Fairview Board of Commissioners to approve this request to annex the entirety of tax map 021, parcel 56.07, located at 7320 Northwest Highway, as indicated on the attached map with the following conditions of approval. This annexation request will be placed on Thursday, February 5th, 2026 Board of Commissioners meeting agenda for consideration, with the potential for the public hearing and second and final reading being held on Thursday, March 5th, 2026 at the Board of Commissioners meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Greer. Is there anyone here tonight that's associated with the project that would like to speak on it? If you will, state your name and address, please.
Good evening, Allison Corolla, T Square Engineering. We're at 111 Southeast Parkway Court in Franklin. I appreciate Mr. Greer acknowledging that this is an extension of the previous Orange-Shire subdivision that has been before you guys a handful of times. And so ultimately, we're just filling in a donut hole. You will see a subsequent application for the rezoning on this one to R20. But I'm here to answer any questions if you have any.
Do you know yet how many homes?
So this one's a little bit tricky. There's actually some open space that was included on Orange-Shire Phase 2 and Phase 3. And so using those open spaces as well as this property, we're proposing 14 maximum total homes. But again, several of those acres come from neighboring open space within those existing developments.
Super.
Madam Chair,
Ma'am?
just a comment. I like to always see donut holes filled in, so I'm glad to see this happen.
Any other questions or comments? Right, hearing none. Ms. Howell, if you will, call the vote, please.
Mr. Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. Dawson,
Aye.
Ms. Schilling, Mr. Ritt,
Aye.
Ms. Shoelist,
Aye.
Mr. Pape,
Aye.
Mr. King,
Aye.
Vice Mayor McDonald,
Aye.
Mayor Anderson.
Aye.
Motion passes 9-0. Thank you. Moving on to item B, PC Resolution PC 226, Conceptual Plan, Old Cox Pike Subdivision, Map 43, Parcels 15, 52, and 53, acreage 53.162 acres. Current zoning is R20, property owner Emery Tidwell. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
McDonald and Dawson. And Mr. Greer, if you will give us the report, please.
Mr. Olson with Anderson, Delk, Epps, and Associates has submitted on behalf of Cunningham Construction and Developments a concept plan for Old Cox Pike residential subdivision that contains 73 single-family detached residential lots, 3 public rights-of-way, 4 open spaces, and all necessary stormwater, water, and wastewater infrastructure. The 4 open spaces contain a total of 10.95 acres, or 20.6% of the development. The open space located at the northwest corner of the development contains a location for a sanitary pump station that is a required improvement per Water Authority of Dixon County. The other open spaces contain 4 detention ponds and the mail kiosk. The property is currently zoned R20 and contains a total of 53.162 acres. We have seen this property quite a bit over the last maybe 4 months with annexation of this property and then rezoning of this to RS20 or R20. Staff recommends the Planning Commission approve the concept plan for the Old Cox Pike residential subdivision to create a 73-lot, single-family detached residential subdivision, 3 public rights-of-way, 4 open spaces, and all necessary utilities. There is a representative tonight to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. If the representative would step up to the podium, please, and state your name and address.
Good evening, Todd Olson with Anderson, Delk, Epps, 618 Grassmere Park, Suite 4, Nashville. Staff in the staff report, and
Arlen Cunningham, 2020 Garfield Street, Nashville, Tennessee.
Thank you. Any questions? The Planning Commission, comments?
I've got a question, Madam Chair.
Sure.
I'm just curious kind of what the considerations that Road B exiting onto Dice Lampley, somebody that drives that road every single day, that's a terrible corner right there where that's coming out at. Just wondering what the considerations were between putting it where it's at right now, kind of the bottom of that hill as that corner comes down versus closer to the top of that hill where I think visibility is a little bit better potentially. People tend to come pretty fast down that hill and around that corner.
we had said it there, and per the staff's request, we put a site distance exhibit, and we also added that alley in the rear of those lots fronting Dice Lampley, so it's all going to be rear. That way there's not individual driveways also on Dice Lampley, so we were trying to take into account any potential safety issues.
Yeah, I saw that and definitely appreciate that for sure. I'd definitely like to see some extra signage added around that area, both up the road, kind of right there in the Pinecrest, coming down that hill before you come down, and then also as well coming the other way. And the other way, you've got a lot more sight distance, but coming around that corner, it's just a pretty nasty corner, as is, before you introduce a neighborhood entrance.
And what's the border between the two subdivisions? How much room is there between there?
Are you talking the Pinecrest? And some of the lots back up to Pinecrest. But if on the preliminary grading, the limits of disturbance, we all except the southwest corner of Pinecrest where the existing detention pond is for that development, at least 10 feet. The limits of disturbance is at least 10 feet off, sometimes in some areas a lot more. And there's a note on there that, the developers to preserve the existing trees to the greatest extent possible to leave some of that existing vegetation in.
My only comment is, I think, based on looking at the existing survey, it seems like there are significant areas with 15 and 20% slopes all over the site that haven't been addressed. So I just don't think this concept plan is realistic based on that, based on what our regulations require for 15 and 20% slopes. I don't know if you guys studied that, but there's, I measured some very significant areas that were definitely greater than 6,000 square foot contiguous. So that's something I think you're going to need to address moving forward. I just don't think this is a very realistic plan based on having to protect those slopes.
Some of those areas by the the farm pond, the non-jurisdictional farm pond, and I know some of the heavier slopes, the road C that goes through, there is a provision that for roads and utilities, some of that can be exemption, but we tried to stay out of a lot of it along that western boundary, but we'll definitely take a look at it.
Mr. Kelly?
Within that property, there's a bunch of trees. I mean, that whole piece of property is a bunch of trees. Are you guys going to save any of those trees, or are they all coming down?
The limits of disturbance show we're leaving some along Pinecrest, and also there's a lot of area there on the western portion where it's outside the limits of disturbance to where it's all going to be left. To develop, we'll try to save it where we can, but
Madam Chair,
Mr. Dawson?
do you project to have any kind of open space for just generally used for kids, families to congregate in the subdivision?
we hadn't put it in initially because it wasn't required and things are kind of tight with slopes and grades. That's something that we can try to look at moving forward.
One more question. On the survey, you guys reference an HD to determine that one area of stream and that the pond is not just jurisdictional. Is that recent? Do you know how recent that was done?
It was done during the annexation and rezoning process, so the last few months.
Yeah,
and
it's not real old.
And it's been agreed upon by TDEC. It's been submitted and certified.
Okay. And is that something staff, they submit that and you guys see that when they go through the full process? Okay.
That is correct, Mr. Pape.
Thanks.
Any other questions? Just a reminder, this is just a concept plan at this point, so we're not beholden to much of the aspects you would see later on with more detail. Just a reminder.
Madam Chairman, one more.
Mr. Kelly?
When you guys came here before, we asked a question, how many homes you would think were going in there? And you said about 63. Well, looks like you squeezed about 10 more in somewhere. So maybe some of that green space that Commissioner Dawson was talking about could go in and take out a home or two maybe, that some look like pineapples and stuff in there, some of the forms.
Pretty sure that I said 73 lots when I originally said that. I didn't go back and check the records on that to make sure, but I'm pretty sure it was 73.
Any other questions, comments? Hearing none. Ms. Howell, if you will, call our vote, please.
Vice Mayor McDonald,
Aye.
Mr. Dawson,
Aye.
Ms. Schilling. Mr. Ritt,
Aye.
Ms. Shoelist,
Aye.
Mr. Kelly,
No.
Mr. Pape,
No.
Mr. King,
No.
Mayor Anderson.
Aye.
All right, motion passes 6-3. Thank you all.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to item C, PC Resolution PC 326, Residential Development Plan 7111 Harrison Drive, MAP 42G, Group A, Parcel 18, acreage 3.83 acres, current zoning is RS10, property owner Innovated Construction Company, LLC. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve PCO 326.
Second.
Callie Pape. All right, Mr. Greer, if you will give us a staff report, please.
Mr. Newport with M2 Groups has submitted on behalf of Innovative Construction Company a residential development plan for 7111 Harrison Drive, which is a residential subdivision that contains 10 single-family detached residential lots, 1 new public right-of-way, 2 open spaces, and all necessary stormwater, water, and wastewater infrastructure. The 2 open spaces contain 0.33 acres. The largest open space 1, it contains 0.24 acres and contains the stormwater management area. The property is currently zoned RS10 and contains a total of 3.83 acres. Staff recommends the Planning Commission approve the residential development plan for 7111 Harrison Drive to create a 10-lot, single-family detached residential subdivision, create 1 new public right-of-way, create 2 open spaces, and all necessary utilities, as resubmitted on December 27th, 2025. There's a representative tonight to answer any questions you have.
Thank you. The representative would step up to the podium and state your name and address, please.
Cale Newport, 1881 General George Patton Drive, Franklin, Tennessee, with M2 Group.
Thank you. You're referring to it as a 10-lot subdivision, but it's really 9 new homes, 1 existing home, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, just making sure.
Madam Chair, I have a question.
Mr. King?
When this first came through, I think for the rezoning, there was talk about the water tower being relocated. Can you just kind of talk through that and how those discussions have gone?
So the Water Authority of Dixon County is looking to upgrade the tower that exists on the lot. If you see Lot 10 there, the existing water tower is just to the north of that. And that happens to be the regional high point in the area is Lot 10. And so there are currently negotiations to construct a new water tower there. And the Water Authority is working on the design of that. And we are supporting them in any way we can through that process.
So is there potential for the tower to go where Lot 10 is now and then where the tower currently sits to become a new lot? Is that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mm.
Staff, I guess if that becomes something that's actually going to happen, will this come back to us, or will they just kind of, how will that work?
I think I know what you're asking, but it would not come back to the Planning Commission. The Water Authority would erect their tower on Lot 10. If it goes the way that Mr. Newport just spoke about, the existing lot in Clearview Meadows would become property of this property owner, and they would construct a new home there. It's already a platted lot within Clearview Meadows. You can see on the development plan future casting that water tower is constructed, they have extended their sidewalk along the Clearview Meadows lot there to pick up, so that if that lot is constructed as a new home, they would have access to the sidewalks within this development.
Okay, that's kind of what I was wondering. I didn't know, is there a sidewalk along Crestview Drive?
Currently, there are no sidewalks within Clearview Meadows.
Okay.
Clear Crest was a platted road that was never built when Clearview Meadows was built, but it was a platted 50-foot right-of-way. And so they are using that platted 50-foot right-of-way as a connection point to Crestview, and then showing their extension of their sidewalks to that adjacent lot if it ever were to become a home site.
Okay. And then I guess last question, so lot 8, that's the existing house, the access to that will remain on Harrison Drive? Is that
Yes,
right?
that's correct.
Okay.
Mr. Greer, back to the question about the water tower, et cetera, et cetera. Is the reason that it wouldn't come back to us because it was previously platted as part of a previous phase of the subdivision?
Correct. It's its own platted lot, has its own zoning, all within Clearview Meadows. So as long as, it'd be just like if you bought a tract of land and wanted to build a home on it, that does not come before y'all traditionally. And so it would just be a lot that someone owns and decides to build a home on.
Sure. Thank you. Any other questions? All right, hearing none. Ms. Howe, if you will call our vote, please.
Mr. Kelly.
Aye.
Mr. Pate.
Aye.
Ms. Schilling. Mr. Dawson.
Aye.
Mr. Ritt.
Aye.
Ms. Shoelist.
Aye.
Mr. King.
Aye.
Vice Mayor McDonald.
Aye.
Mayor Anderson.
Aye.
Motion passes 9-0. Thank you. Moving on to item D, PC Resolution PC 426, Final Plat, 7104 Hall Road, Map 43D, Group A, Parcel 10, acreage 3.17 acres. Current zoning is RS 15, property owner Innovative Construction Company LLC.
Make a motion to approve PC 426.
Do you have a second? Second. All right, Callie Schilling. All right, Mr. Greer, if you'll give us the staff report, please.
Mr. Vanderhorst with M2 Groups, on behalf of Innovative Construction Company, has submitted a final plat for the 7104 Hall Road residential subdivision that contains 6 single-family detached residential lots on 3.17 acres. Additionally, the 7104 Hall Road residential subdivision will dedicate right-of-way along both Hall Road and Cox Pike. The right-of-way dedications total 0.41 acres. The property is found on FEMA Firm Panel 47187C0135F, but no portion of the property is located within a flood hazard zone. All surrounding properties are located within the municipal boundaries of Fairview, and all surrounding properties are zoned RS40. All surrounding properties also contain single-family residential land uses. Staff recommends the Planning Commission approve the final plat for the 7104 Hall Road residential subdivision in order to create 6 single-family detached residential lots and dedicating 0.41 acres of right-of-way along Hall Road and Cox Pike as resubmitted on December 24th, 2025.
Thank you. Is there a representative tonight for the project? If you will state your name and address, please.
Stephen Vandross, representing Group 1881 Patton Drive, Franklin, Tennessee.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions from the Planning Commission? All right, hearing none. Ms. Howell, if you will, call our vote, please.
Mr. Kelly.
Aye.
Ms. Schilling. Mr. Dawson.
Aye.
Mr. Ritt.
Aye.
Ms. Shoelist.
Aye.
Mr. Pape.
Aye.
Mr. King.
Aye.
Vice Mayor McDonald.
Aye.
Mayor Anderson.
Aye.
All right, motion passes 9-0. Thank you. All right, moving on to item E, discussion from the City of Fairview Development Code final draft. Do I have a motion to approve?
Just discussion.
Okay, just a discussion.
Just a discussion. We're not voting on anything tonight.
Okay.
One moment. Bree, if you will put click share up, please. All right. So tonight, I have a couple items that we need to discuss about the draft. The first item, we're going to go through the changes that staff submitted between the public draft and the final draft. And then we're going to go through and look at calendar schedules to see when everyone is available to meet and have a joint work session with the Board of Commissioners. Starting out. Starting out, we changed it from, currently our current standard is to do traffic studies on any projects that are 100 residential units or more. In the public draft, we had dropped that down to 40 residential units. And as we evaluated going through traffic and patterns of the city, we have subdivisions that come in all shapes and sizes around here. Even small ones affect roads, especially with the curvature and topography of the road network that we have. And so we have reduced that from 40 to all residential projects will require traffic impact studies. And then additionally, we added if the development has direct traffic access to a non-standard road. And Curtis, you can chime in if you want to. That was your comment about what you...
Yeah, I think the number 4 probably just repetitive since we've, well, I guess it's kind of like an option, right? If we decide to.
It also goes for commercial as well.
Okay, then yeah. I think, if we have a non-standard road in Fairview, it's already probably operating poorly by our standards. So it's always good to see if any future development would constitute road improvements for a non-standard road. That's the purpose of number 4.
What is that definition again of a non-standard road?
It'd be any road that does not meet the current standards of roadway width, vertical K, all of the metrics of road geometry and design.
Quick question on the all residential projects. Does that include if there's a single family home on a plot of land, or is this only somehow be defined as development?
It would only be for developments. It would not be for single homes. That whole section is only for any project that comes before the Planning Commission will require a traffic study.
Fair enough.
I have a question about the study. Is that going to be executed by the city, or is that going to be by the developer?
Currently, as it is written, it will be by the developer to provide a traffic study to the city.
Okay, and is there a standard for that traffic study that?
There's a professional standard from a traffic engineering standpoint that they have professional measures to take. Curtis, you may be able to shed more light since you are the engineer on that, but there are standards of practice that they utilize
Okay, so
across
when we see it, we're
everyone.
going to be expected to kind of maintain a standard throughout all these projects, so we know what we're looking at.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
And ultimately, they meet with staff to determine intersection points and what the size of the traffic study and how, how far away from their particular project they have to study and different things like that. The next,
Um,
no, sorry.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mayor.
how many lots constitute development?
Most of the time, it's 3.
So we're going to ask for a traffic study for 3 lots?
Correct.
I totally disagree with that, but that's just me.
It's
It's a lot of expense for 3 lots.
It's become significantly more common, especially in Middle Tennessee, with the amount of population growth that we've seen. Several communities within Williamson County are currently doing that already. And so staff viewed it as an opportunity for us to always have current information for all of our roadways as different projects pop up throughout, to give the Planning Commission and the Board of Commissioners adequate information and education on what our current traffic patterns and traffic needs are, so that we can best serve the community.
Would it be helpful if maybe we said at the, all developments at the discretion of staff? Just so if there's a 5-unit project off of a rural road, you're not, most likely not going to need a traffic study.
Not a bad idea, and that's why we're discussing it with you guys. I mean, none of this is set in stone. This is
Sure.
up for discussion. Love the feedback.
Madam
Yeah.
Chair,
Go ahead.
It is a draft, yes.
Yes, Mayor.
whose idea was this?
To do the traffic study,
On 3 lots?
it's on all residential projects,
Well,
but it was,
3 and above.
I mean, ultimately, it was my decision to submit that,
And
but
it's okay,
Yeah.
whoever's decision it was. I guess what I'm getting at, was this something that came from a developer, the public, our staff? I'm just curious.
it came, I mean, over the course, sitting in the meetings last year with TPUDC, obviously, I mean, Mayor, you know probably best that traffic is a concern of most citizens within our community. And so to provide that information and to gain that understanding as a city and understand what each individual development impacts, whether it's, a small impact or a large impact, I think all of those should be accounted for.
It just sounds like we're going 0 to 90, when, there might be a situation where, 3 lots, it's just a no-brainer. And to ask someone who's just maybe developing 3 lots for their family members or whatever, because no matter if it's for 3 family members who are developing those 3 lots, or a neighborhood that has 50 lots or 100 lots, to ask them to do a traffic study if it's not warranted, that's a lot of expense that might not be warranted. So in my opinion, I feel like we need to do it, do a minimum, but all is, I think, a little aggressive. And I think we could do it on a case-by-case basis under whatever you decide the lowest figure is.
Can I add to that, please?
Sure.
I think if there was a mechanism where we could vote on that, or have some kind of process where we could waive that requirement, from a common sense perspective, it would embolden the board to kind of pay attention to traffic, because we have to use that as, sort of a moving on mechanism. I would just recommend that we would have the ability as a staff or as a commission to vote on that.
Let me pose you this question then. What if whenever the development brought in a conceptual plan, because that is in here as well, that all developments will bring in conceptual plans. At that point, then the planning commission decides if a traffic study is needed or not.
And I don't think we want to use it as a stopgap or as a, something that we could hold against the developer, for other projects. But I think if we had a standard process that we went through for that, I think it would make more sense than a blanket. Thank you.
I might offer an alternative. If 3 seems too low, which, I agree in some cases it may, what number makes more sense to you guys as a planning commission when you reach a certain number? I think that was our difficulty in finding a number to stop requiring traffic impact studies. And it may just be more simple to kind of revise the definition of what a development is in your mind. Is it 3 lots? Is it 10? Maybe that's something we can do other than going the route of voting on it every time. It's up to you guys, but that's just an alternative I propose.
Madam Chair.
Mayor Anderson.
Okay, so I agree that we need to pay attention to traffic and how our roads are impacted. That's very important. But I just feel like we may have a simple 3 that we're going to require somebody to spend a lot of money that really it's just kind of a no-brainer. So I feel like if we come up with a number, 30, 40, 10, whatever it is, we can look at that on a case-by-case basis, because there may be a situation where 3 lots warrant a traffic study, but it may be a majority of them don't. So I feel like we need to come up with a number, and then under that, we can make a decision. If we find that it warrants one, then we can ask for one.
Madam Chair. I completely agree with Mayor Anderson. I think 3 is a little low for a development. From a bigger picture standpoint, it sounds like tonight you guys are going to show us a bunch of changes. We're going to talk about doing a work session that's going to be a joint one with us and the Board of Commissioners, and it'll be a lot more interactive for that. I wonder if it's more productive to kind of get through all these and do research between now and then. My personal thought on this particular item is I've read a lot of traffic studies, and I doubt any 3-lot traffic studies are ever going to require any improvements for anything on any road. And it might be that we talk to some traffic engineers and say, what do you think is the threshold? They can pull the ITE trip generation pretty quick and say, yeah, most roads, 5, 10, 15 trips in a peak hour is not going to have any impact, and we can maybe look at it that way. So I'm glad to talk to some traffic engineers between now and the work session as well. But I think it needs to be higher. Just
You know what? I agree with you. What you just said about we're never going to get through all of this if we don't just let you go through it, and then we're having 2 more work sessions with the public where we can have more discussion.
And 3 public hearings as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Last thing I just want to say on traffic impact studies. Really, the idea behind it is to acquire data in the city. That's something we don't have. It's a luxury item for most municipalities. And so if you have a collection of traffic impact studies, it's very supportive information for a major thoroughfare plan, which I believe we have in the works. So that is another element to think about as well. Just want to make that note. Thank you.
Understood. Thank you.
The next item we have is in Article 2, districts for development sites. Originally, in the public draft, it had 20 gross acres listed as a development site. And for sake of time, please go read the definition of development site as we move through this. The current final draft, we changed kind of the definition of what a development site is. Previously, it was 20 acres, and it required any development that was on 20 acres or greater to have everything split out in different types of districts to have mixed uses. With that, as many of you have seen throughout Fairview with our topo challenges and different pieces, a 20-acre parcel in Fairview likely holds 10, 15 homes by the time you get roads in and deal with some topography challenges. And we didn't feel that could support, having 30 to 60% commercial activity involved in those 15 homes. And so we reevaluated that and felt that 150 lots and 50 acres, both metrics would have to be met to require a development site to have multiple uses. And in those uses, you have 0 to 10% of CD1, which is natural, untouched, undisturbed land. CD2 and 2W, which are 3-acre and 1-acre lots, are not regulated. CD3, which is quarter-acre lots, can be 30 to 60% of the property. CD4, which includes multifamily, townhomes, live-work space, and commercial space, is a set of 10 to 30%. And then civic spaces, sorry, you can't see that percentage, but it's 5 to 20% for civic spaces. So the community would have a central place to come together. The next change that we have, done. Newly annexed properties. So we had put that down as CD2W, which is 1 home per acre on the newly annexed properties. Most of the properties that are annexed into the city are on the municipal boundary. And we've heard from several folks who are on the Planning Commission and several members of the community who have spoken about annexing and annexed properties and how we can slowly zone those into higher density. And so hearing all of that and taking that into account, we changed the initial zoning of annexed property to CD2, which would be 1 home per 3 acres. Most of Williamson County is 1 home per 5 acres. And so if that property were to become annexed, you would step down from inside the city, high density, to along the municipal boundary of lower density, and then even lower density within Williamson County.
Did you say 1 home per 2?
Per 3 acres.
Okay.
All right, so this was a piece that affects all character districts as we go about it. Garage design was a big concern for several citizens that we met with, and several folks. It's shocked me how many folks cared about garage design so much. We did add in minimum interior dimensions for the garage is 12 by 22 for a single car garage and 24 by 24 for a double car. And then the driveway vehicular entrance maximum width is 26 feet and the first 10 feet of length, otherwise 20-foot max. And that's applicable for CD2, CD2W, and CD3L. The rest of the character districts remained at the 12-foot max. We did a survey throughout the community and driving through and looking at our existing homes that we currently have. Most homes built post-2010 have 16 to 20-foot driveways. Most homes built prior to 2010 have 12-foot drives. And so to be in accordance with kind of the existing Fairview, maintain some of what made Fairview, we felt that we should also have a mix of driveway widths as we currently have and try to maintain that throughout. The CD2, 2W, and 3L are the larger lots. That's a 3-acre, 1 acre, and a half-acre lot. So those all have options for larger driveways. The smaller lots have a 12-foot drive within their first layer. And so kind of gives a varying balance to make sure that everything is represented as we currently see the town. Hopefully, it'll be that same way in 30 years. The next change is on page 108. This is in CD2W. In our public draft, we had 150 feet minimum for the lot building site width. We heard from several folks that they would like to see that match the RS 40 as today, which is 125 feet in width, since that is one home per acre. We did match that back to 125. However, down at the bottom of that same page, we adjusted the rear setback and made that 30 feet. Later on, we did add a provision that no fences can be erected within drainage easements, as we have a significant challenge throughout the community today with fences within drainage easements that inhibit proper drainage of subdivisions. And so that additional 10 feet of the rear setback that was added, most lots have a 10-foot drainage easement on the back of those lots. And so that 10 feet, 20 plus 10 gets you to 30. That way, the person is not losing any backyard space. We just increase the setback to accommodate the drainage easement. Page 112 for garage location, another garage piece. Side entry garages are allowed within the second layer. Again, the second layer is from the front of the house back the first 20 feet. Side entry garages are allowed for single door garage doors, and that is applicable to CD2W, CD3L, and CD3. Within CD2, we removed all garage requirements because they're set back, I believe, 150 feet off of the road. And so there's no real visual impact that a pedestrian would have interacting with that building. Page 118, we have CD3L, which is one home or two homes per acre, one home per half acre. Currently, it most closely matches our R20, which has a 100-foot minimum building width, lot width. And so we matched that up from 125 to 100. And then we altered the rear setback here as well, added the additional 10 feet for the drainage easement to be on there. And I know y'all see a lot of easements on plats and stuff. It is a significant issue within the city. And when I say significant, I mean significant that the drainage is being stopped by people building fences right up to the property line. It creates little mini ponds in each person's backyard and doesn't allow the water to flow exactly where it's designed to flow. And then that creates not only issues on that homeowner's lot, but also lots upstream or downstream. And so trying to rectify some of the challenges of the past that we've had in Fairview with hopefully better codes in the future. The next one was brought to us by the city of Columbia. It was one of their big things that they struggled with. Instead of having primary building materials on the facades, primary is a very subjective term. There is no definition for primary, and so their recommendation to our staff was to change the language to just building materials and remove the word primary, and then to remove stucco as well. They have had several challenges with stucco buildings. That's not a common building material that's used within the city. Most of our buildings that we have are brick, stone, cementitious siding. And so we went ahead and removed the stucco products. It's more of a desert type product than a Fairview. 28. All right, so CD3 is probably our most affected particular character district. We added, instead of 90-foot minimum for a lot width, we changed that to a 70-foot minimum. And we even reduced it to a 50-foot minimum if the home is alley loaded. And that is given as an incentive for developments to potentially get a few more homes in if they build alleys, which keep people off of main roads traveling and provides better safety for folks as they're traversing to and from their homes. We did adjust the setbacks for a front yard setback of 25 feet, a side yard setback of 10 feet, and a rear setback of 25. This is 1 home per, or 4 homes per acre. And so typically in these subdivisions, we see a 5-foot drainage easement on the back of those. And so that's the reason that you see a 5-foot addition to the rear setback. And then we added in alley setbacks as well into the setbacks for this, where you have a front setback of 8-foot minimum, a side setback of 8-foot minimum, and then the rear setback changes depending on if you can park a car within the driveway or if your garage is all the way against and you have parking within the alley. And so there are a few changes with that I would like to note. This is for all, but window glazing material, they had a requirement for all elevations to have clear glass. We did provide an exception for frosted glass within bathrooms. Porch frontages, there's a minimum 8-foot clear depth, excluding rails, pillars, and columns or other features. The 8-foot clear depth, based on our conversation, seemed to be a little larger than what most people currently have within Fairview. And so we did a minimum of 6 instead of 8.
I have a question.
Yes.
By changing the alley setbacks, does that incentivize developers to install more alleys, therefore causing more drainage issues with more concrete? We can get into this in the next working session, but
I would encourage you to speak with some developers. I haven't not spoke with a single one who has been very pro alley. However, this code does push a lot towards pedestrian access and removing cars and kind of hiding vehicular parking. And so the alley is a significant benefit to have vehicular parking behind the home, access to the rear of the home, and then have the pedestrian interaction with each individual frontage as they're walking down the street be kind of clear of vehicular traffic.
Is that going to then cause any kind of ordinance violations for parking or anything like that? If you're going to encourage more vehicles to maybe park in an alleyway to use that additional space, is that going to create any kind of emergency response issues? I'm just kind of open conversation.
So the frontage of the home would front a thoroughfare, and so they would access, fire, police, life safety services would access the front of the home and not through the alley. The next piece is another garage design. If garage faces the street, maximum garage width is 33% for all districts of the total garage plus facade width. The 33, it's a lot easier to evaluate a third than 30%. And so that was another piece that came out of Columbia that made their life much easier in review of their staff. On CD4, which CD4 primarily used for commercial, but has some mixed use opportunities within it for homes, duplexes, townhomes, flex buildings, commercial spaces, live work. We did change the townhome lot building site width from a 24-foot minimum to a 22-foot minimum. The other note was there was a typo there. And then for the side yard setbacks for homes and duplexes, we just added a note to actually have a side yard setback. And then we provided the same rear setbacks as we have in CD3 for the alley access. For CD4C, which is our neighborhood corridor, as we look throughout the community, quite a few of these densities, we go from one unit per acre or 1 unit per 3 acres to 1 unit per acre to 2 units per acre, 4 units per acre, 6 units per acre. And we wanted an opportunity of where you can create some multifamily homes and actually provide a product within the community that is more attainable for folks who live and work within the city. And so CD4C is primarily on the map, is out by I-40, kind of a interchange district, and out by 840 at that interchange district. And with that, we looked at, what we felt was the highest density Fairview can have, and that is 16 dwelling units per acre. Currently, our highest density is RM20, which is 20 units per acre. We had originally put 12 in, but as our discussions got more and more, we're trying to grow as a town and encourage folks to move here and encourage small businesses and encourage restaurants and different things to come here. Those workers that work in small businesses and restaurants and support our community need a place that they can live within our community. And every community has opportunities for that, and so we wanted to make sure that Fairview had that opportunity met, and we felt that 16 dwelling units per acre could accommodate that. It is still less than what we currently have as RM20. Mr. Pape, you're going to love this next one. We did our best, and we've had many conversations about this, to try and clean up our steep slopes craziness that is currently in our document. So looking through it, steep slopes of 15 to 19%, minimum percent of the site to remain undisturbed. We've changed the 40 to 30%, and then greater than 20%, we dropped that from 100% down to 90. On the following page, well, let's go through all these changes just to make sure, because I know this is a point that we did break it out with respect to single-family dwellings for any lot or building site of 2 acres or less in size that is created for use as a lot or building site for a single-family dwelling, which is considered a critical lot for purposes of this provision. Approval of a development plan containing the information required by the definition of critical lot or building site plan shall be required with the respect to 2 family dwellings for any lot or building site of 2 acres or less in size that is created for use as a lot or building site for a 2-family dwelling, which is considered a critical lot for this provision. Approval of a development plan containing the information required by the definition of the critical lot or building site plan shall be required. And then pull up exactly how they updated this. We had several conversations with TPUDC about this and with our staff about how to best meet what we're looking for. You can see what we asked for, add an additional sentence within there of except for lots or building sites that are a part of an approved development plan, such lots or building sites shall be governed by the single family or 2-family dwelling piece on there. Everything else would be governed by what was in. What ended up in the final draft for item C is with respect to development of areas that will include large multifamily, small multifamily, townhouse buildings, live-work buildings, commercial buildings, mixed-use buildings, flex buildings, or large-scale commercial buildings. Such areas shall be subject to the following. Manipulation of slopes shall result in the following reductions in density permitted for those portions disturbed, which that table has not changed. And that portion of a site that contains one or more steep slopes greater than or equal to 20% shall remain undisturbed. Trying to clarify it as best we can for not only the Planning Commission's sake, the BOC's sake, but also developers and engineers as they're going through our documents. Currently, we have 3 different metrics. None of them match, and they're all contradictory to each other, which makes it very challenging for staff, for engineers, and for developers, along with the Planning Commission and BOC to all interpret. There is a provision for hilltops and ridgetops. And this is one that I think is very interesting for y'all to ponder on as we evaluate over the next month. Hilltops and ridgetops, the city of Fairview does not really have a whole lot of ridgetops if you think about it, or hilltops. We have a lot of hills and a lot of ridges, but we don't have a whole lot of tops that overlook the entirety of the city. It's been very challenging for us as a staff to go through it and evaluate, do we set a base elevation, which is currently what's in the document at 875 feet. Anything that's above that would be considered a hilltop or a ridgetop, depending on the size. We did clarify within this that if a hilltop extends past the property boundary, the development can disturb 50 or 80% of the hilltop on their property. And then for a ridgetop, if a ridgetop extends past the property boundary, a developer can disturb up to 50% of the hilltop on their property. But overall, and Curtis has been working with his staff at Griggs and Maloney with doing a elevation study of the city to better clearly show this, but Fairview varies a lot. We are not a flat town by any means, by any stretch of the imagination. We are not Franklin, we're not Nolensville. Columbia, for even the hills that they have, is much flatter than the city of Fairview. And this is one thing that staff ultimately decided we left it in, but the Planning Commission and the Board of Commissioners, as you vote on this, it's one item that we feel should be best decided by you all. Ultimately, are hilltops worth protecting? And if they are, then how much disturbance should be allowed? We can provide the elevation data for where we're at. But for example, Cumberland Estates, the entrance of Cumberland Estates is 905 feet in elevation. I don't think anybody who drives down Cumberland Drive thinks that that is a hilltop as you're driving through there. Whereas 875 feet, that project would not have been able to fully be disturbed there within their entrance. Just some pieces that we've kind of struggled with across the community as our elevations change pretty quick and rapidly, and we go from pretty low to I think it's like 940 or 980, something like that. And so just something to be cognizant of as you're going through this over the next month to look at, and we will get some elevation data out to you.
Quick question.
Yes, sir.
Did that come up in the 2040 plan as far as preservation of hilltops, ridgetops, et cetera? Is there anything in that? I'm trying to remember.
I don't recall right offhand, but I can get you an answer for that. Again, I did add in there that all character districts that no fences can be constructed within drainage easements. This is one that was a hot topic a couple months ago. It's the definition of a rural retreat. Did clarify the definition. And just a moment. You all did not have to deal with the rural retreat, but the Board of Zoning Appeals did. We clarified what recreational activities are available for a rural retreat. And the definition in the final draft is a principal commercial use owned and operated by a non-governmental entity for the purpose of providing a rural setting in which accommodations, lodging, and related camping, conference, meeting, and event venue facilities, dining, and recreation amenities are provided. Recreational amenities are limited to walking trails, mountain bike trails, aquatic facilities, spa, greenhouse, retail. All other amenities shall be approved by the Board of Zoning Appeals. I know that there were several folks in here that night at the Board of Zoning Appeals meeting that spoke their piece and wanted everyone to know what they felt about that proceeding. And hearing all of what they had, we looked back at what our intent was of putting a rural retreat piece into this. And if any of you are familiar with the South Hall property located in Franklin, Leapers Fork area, that property has all the existing same amenities that are listed within this definition. It is a rural retreat. It truly is a peaceful setting where folks can go relax, rejuvenate, and enjoy their time. And so we wanted to try and mimic that, and then also not allow any crazy ideas that people might have that pop up.
So would that be a conditional use hearing?
That would be a conditional use hearing, yes, sir.
So does the language suggest that it's a conditional use?
That is the definition of a rural retreat. Earlier in the document, it calls it a conditional use.
No, I mean the other things other than the things you outlined. So if someone did want a race course, for example, they would have to go to the Board of Zoning Appeals to get a conditional use permit.
Correct. And that is not within the definition, but it is earlier in the document. Whenever you go through permitted uses, conditional uses, and accessory uses.
Gotcha. I just want to make sure I'm clear on the process to different people find different things relaxing, so.
All right. So this is one.
Madam Chair.
Mayor.
Mr. Greer, so is that for, I just want to be clear, is that for commercial use only? Rural retreat?
Rural retreat is permitted exclusively within CD2, which is the only commercial use that is allowed outside of CD4 or CD4C. The intent behind it is to have a rural setting
That somebody has to pay for as a commercial, to a commercial business to use?
I don't understand your question, Mayor.
So what if someone had, say, 1,000 acres, and they were gonna, say, put some cottages on it and some, like a spa and different things, and they wanted to bring in, say they owned businesses across the country, and they wanted to bring in, like, maybe one business at a time to kind of have a team building session, but they didn't want it open to the general public. Would that be allowed?
That would be allowed. That is
So
a
it wouldn't
principal
necessarily
commercial
be
use.
commercial, though? If they're doing it free of charge to bring their members of their business in to have a team building session, and they don't want it open to the public as a paid for type situation?
It would fall within rural retreat, yes.
Okay,
can
even though it's
discuss-
technically not commercial.
Yes, it's technically not commercial, but there's only 3 ways to classify something within this document. You have industrial uses, commercial uses, or residential uses. And since this definition involves amenities that non-homeowners might use, it would fall within a commercial use per this document.
Okay, and, so anything that's listed would not have to go before the Board of Zoning Appeals, only if they wanted to do something that's not listed, to get a conditional use for that. Is that right?
If they wanted to do something that was outside of the listed recreational amenities, they would need to seek a conditional use from the Board of Zoning Appeals.
Okay, thank you.
And within that, is there the ability to get a permit to do something temporarily? Let's just say that in the mayor's situation, someone wanted to put on a free concert to the public in a rural retreat area. Would that be a permit or would that be a conditional?
That is a temporary use permit, which would fall within the, I believe the word that's used in there is a bazaar for the temporary use, which also has to go to the Board of Zoning Appeals for their approval.
Okay.
The next piece in here, start at the top. So they had in the public draft some segments for scenic street buffers. We ultimately left these in and added some additional segments. The scenic street buffers require a buffer depth from the street. It's intended to maintain the rural character of our street network and kind of set the edges of our town as rural so that as you progress through town, things become higher density. The additional segments that we added are Chester Road, Cumberland Drive, Crowcut Road, Old Franklin Road, Cox Pike, Northwest Highway, and Old Nashville. Currently, so their buffer depth that they had in their segments were 200 feet and 150 feet on Highway 96. We added a minimum buffer depth from the right-of-way of 100 feet, with 50% of that 100 feet retained as completely undisturbed and 20% of disturbed buffer depth is to be screened with landscaping. And so the ultimate goal behind that is to maintain, as you drive through the streets of Fairview today, and many folks love the tree-lined streets that we all grew up loving, and this maintains the first at least 50 feet on each side of the road as completely undisturbed, and then the other 50 feet can be disturbed, and 20% of that disturbed area has to be replanted with a landscape buffer. Ultimately, it will provide for streets to look the same as they do today, and if developments come in, they are well buffered from the street so that the pedestrian interaction with new developments is not disturbed as folks are walking down the road. And that is it for all the major topics. All the other items that we had were small typos and a misspelling here, misspelling there. Now, looking at the calendar, we are looking to vote on this on February 5th. We're going to be putting out a public hearing notice for that night. So between now and February 5th, what challenges might we all have of getting together for a joint work session?
Do you have any dates in mind that we could consider?
I would prefer somewhere between the 20th and the 23rd.
Just to clarify, you said
20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd of
So a
January.
vote on February 5th, is that the BOC voting on it?
That would be the planning commission voting on it.
That's a Thursday.
Yeah, that's a BOC meeting.
Sorry,
February 10th?
February 10th. I looked at the wrong date on the calendar.
Okay,
February 10th, yes.
got it.
I'd like to do something next week or the following week. If there's a consensus.
I'm out of town the 27th through the 3rd.
Perfect.
So you will not be here for the,
I won't be here the
The vote.
27th through the 3rd, which means that has nothing to do with BOC or Planning Commission. That's the last week of January.
Would,
Well, no, the week after. It's
You-
this week.
January 20th, it's a Tuesday, that evening, I mean, it's not a, we're all here on Tuesday nights, so I'm thinking Tuesday nights might be a good idea for everybody.
Vice Mayor McDonald proposed January 20th. How does that sound for everybody?
what time?
It would be yeah, it's a work session with a presentation, or to be able to ask questions from TPUDC. So the 20th,
One question, I mean, I know nobody's gonna be able to answer this. How long do we think it's gonna take? I mean, is an evening gonna be enough, or do we need to like do Saturday the 24th and start at 8 o'clock in the morning and see what happens?
Stop.
our consultant does not work on Saturdays, and so it would, they have asked if we can do something during the day or if we could schedule something at night during a weeknight. Let's look at, how does everybody look for the 22nd, that Thursday? I know Wednesday night gets a little busy for several folks. The 20th or the 22nd?
Just to clarify, when he said consultants, he meant TPUDC, not Griggs Miller.
Yeah, Curtis works all the time.
Just be like a 6 PM start.
It can be. We'll go till we get done.
Yeah, I would recommend 6 PM start, because I think earlier
Into
is hard to get here.
midnight.
Either night's good for me, 20th or the 22nd.
All right, I will propose those, with the 20th being our top priority and the 22nd being a follow-up if needed. And that is all that I have for tonight. Thank you all for hanging out. It's great to see all of you back. Happy New Year.
Thank you. All right. Moving on to item 9, reports for discussion and information. City planning staff, any other updates you want to give? Okay. City manager.
Nothing tonight other than Happy New Year. Thank you for your service.
Thank you. City engineer.
Nothing tonight.
Okay. City attorney. All right. Moving on to item 10, planning commission roundtable. We will start down with Mr. King.
Nothing for me tonight.
All right, Mr. Dawson.
No comment.
Okay. Mrs. Schilling. Sorry.
No comment.
All right, Mayor Anderson.
You might want to make me last.
Okay, fair enough. All right, Mr. Ritt.
Oh, ma'am, nothing.
Right, Mayor McDonald.
Just Happy New Year and go Bears.
Oh, me.
Mr. Callie.
Just want to thank the staff for their work. Happy New Year, and go Bears.
Vice Chairman Pape.
Happy New Year, everybody. Again, thank you to staff. I know how challenging this is. Look forward to the work sessions. Thank you.
Right. I don't have no updates for me, but I'll let you go last.
Okay. So, Happy New Year to everyone. Thank you for all your hard work on this new zoning code project. And I just want to remind everyone that there is the Around Town Coffee tomorrow morning here at City Hall, 8:30. We are going to be hosted by First Bank. It will be in this room. And we'll be hearing from the Boys and Girls Club, which is always a good time. So, great time for networking. We have elected officials, state representatives, business owners, and leaders from all of Williamson County. So it's a good opportunity to get involved with that at 8:30 in the morning here tomorrow morning. Also, I just wanted to let everyone know, I think this is good for the Planning Commission and the board. I'll probably announce it at both. I've been in talks pretty much for the last, I don't know, several years, but just recently we have found out that there's going to be more transportation money coming down the pipeline for states, including the state of Tennessee. So I've been working with State Representative Lee Reeves and TDOT Representative Jay Norris on, since we can't, our widening of 100, we're not on the 10-year plan, we're after that. So it's not going to be any time in the near future. So we were trying to think of an alternative that would help, that's not, since we're not going to be seeing the widening anytime soon. And so Jay Norris of TDOT, he's been working on surveying our streets as far as our State Highway 100, which has nothing to do with the city of Fairview being able to determine what happens with that. But we do know that we need some alleviation of traffic there and better situations when people make left-hand turns out of some of the areas, especially Bowie Nature Park. Some thought that there was a turn lane there. There is not. You can't turn on a hash mark. So the turn lane stops at what, I don't know the new name of it, but it was Scott Fetzer, the France plant that is right before Bowie Nature Park. But since we have, 25 to 30,000 people visit Bowie Nature Park every month, it's just a good idea for us to see that as a hot spot with traffic, especially people trying to make left-hand turns to go back to Bellevue, Franklin, and Nashville. And, we've seen it all the time where people have to kind of, play the game of Frogger. Let's see who can get out before you get creamed. So they're working, we're all working together right now to see if we can't do continuous turn lanes through the city of Fairview. And that would start at the 4-lane where our old post office is, all the way out to 840. They do believe there's going to be more survey, visual surveying that has to be done. But they do believe that they can make that work without, having to acquire land. So if we can do this continuous turning lane, that just means that until eventually we get, expanded, Highway 100 expanded into a 4-lane situation, that we would have a continuous turn lane. No matter where you come out, you can ease out into the turn lane like we do here at City Hall. And I feel like, at least it happens with me, people are nice enough to kind of let you ease over. So that's a much better situation than no turn lane. And I came out of DMA, that area down here today, there's no turn lane, and it's just either sit and wait and wait and wait, make a right-hand turn, go down, try to make some U-turn in a business. If we had a turn lane, you can make that left turn and just ease over. So that's kind of what we're looking at. And, Jay Norris with TDOT, he's really awesome. And if anybody would like to talk to him, he's always at the GNRC meetings that are the third Wednesday of every month. And, it's a good opportunity to let him know how you feel about things. I sure do. So, but I feel like that would be good for our community. And they've been working on this, and they're going to see, with this new money coming in for transportation, if we can get it going. So anyway, I just wanted to update on that, but, you know, would love to see as many people in the community come to the Round Town Coffee. I will be in charge of that tomorrow. Our Economic Development Officer, Patty Carroll, she's out of town right now and has asked me to handle this for her, but I'm sure we're going to enjoy hearing from the Boys and Girls Club. So with that, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes, Mr. Greer.
Just one quick item. I know several of you prefer electronic documents. I know some of you prefer paper documents. As we are printing and binding the development code final draft, who would like a paper copy of the final draft? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The Board of Commissioners are going to get them. I know that there are a few of you up here, so did you get that down, Marissa?
How many again?
If you'll raise your hands one time. The DOC is getting them, yeah.
So we don't.
Everyone, perfect.
Can we
Why
just
not?
get those changes that you've made, for the folks that already have one? The one that you made up there? Do you have a?
The changes that we asked for and how the wording ultimately ended up is slightly different. But I am happy to provide you the replacement pages if you would like that.
That's correct.
Last, I
We will, sorry, we'll deliver those to your homes. So be looking out for a package.
Did you say to our house?
Correct.
do you have my address?
I do.
Okay.
I have all of your addresses. You all live within the city. It's kind of my job to know that part.
I'll pick mine up here.
Mr. Broadbent.
Real quick, just want to provide a glimmer of hope on the 10-year plan. I'm almost positive that the TDOT 10-year plan does change annually, so it's not completely out of the question. Just want to make that note. All right.
That's not going to happen.
I said I didn't have anything, and I actually do, and I just forgot. So Mr. Greer, I've gotten some emails from citizens asking for updates on when this draft will be available to the public, and, you know, obviously you've answered the question on when we're going to have a work session to work through it.
Yep.
But will it be available on,
It's available today on
Okay.
the city website. It's attached to this agenda as a full 476-page attachment, or 470-page attachment.
when you print that, or is it going to be front and back pages?
It will be front and back. We are going to try to save a couple trees, but it is a lot of paper.
Has a lot of paper. Did you have a question, Mr. McDonald?
You had said you were waiting on the map. Any timeline on the expectations for that?
So the map is about 99% done. There is one parcel that just got split up, and we've been awaiting the county because the parcel was with one owner. That owner is now deceased. They passed that property on to their children. And so it's a matter of GIS really of when the county updates the lot lines for that so that we have the most accurate, correct map. I'm expecting that at the latest by the end of this week. Or I guess by the latest this time next week, but hopefully this week.
Relatively safe to say that a map will be available prior to the work session.
Correct.
All right. If there's nothing else, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. So moved.